You do know what you have to do. Talk to us. 2146. That is your SMS line, and at Metropole TVKE across all your social media platforms. Let's get this morning started, therefore, shall we? It's a very good morning this morning. Good. Now, how we start our conversation this morning is that we're going to look at exactly what is going on in the world today in terms of businesses and exactly what the effects have been so far for young companies that are trying to create a niche during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, we do know exactly what the conversation have been is that companies have been affected not on a uniform scale. Some have felt the heat. We do know what's happening in the tourism sector. We do know what's happening in the transport industry. Some have been affected partially. We do know what's happening in the education sector. It is now September, so we do know what the value chain around the education system in the country is doing to those people who benefit from that. All right, this morning, therefore, to get us started on what the atmosphere is business-wise in that area, we do have Onesha Technologies Limited in the studio, and we are joined by Mr. Nyagaka. Good morning.
Good morning, Elijah. How are you? Good to see you, man. Good to see that you're social distancing even in the studio.
Yes, we are. It's quite important to do that.
Perfect, perfect.
Talk to me. How are you doing yourself? Let's start from there.
I'm doing super. I've been also social distancing myself, working from home for the past 90 or so, and it's coming up very well, I must say.
All right, so let's begin our conversation this week from this end. I know we're going to talk about the COVID-19 pandemic, how it's affecting you. I know we're going to talk about exactly what it is that you're reading, but let's begin it from this perspective this morning. I know you're very much into quotes and what business leaders across the world are doing. What are you reading this week? Why are you reading it? What is it saying?
Interestingly, I'm reading a book called Bad Blood. It's written by John Carreyrou, who works with the Wall Street Journal. And it's about this story about this young entrepreneur in Silicon Valley who built a company called Theranos. At one point, it was valued at $40 billion. And after 10 years, it came crumbling down to the ground because of fraud cases, and the technology that it was selling, it wasn't actually true. It's a 300-page book, and it's very interesting for every entrepreneur to read that story because it provides you a glimpse into why businesses that are built on lies come falling to the ground.
Fantastic. All right, let's come from there. Let's talk about Onesha Technologies. Tell me, how have you been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic? There's this saying in the street right now that your company, and especially companies that fall in your area, are not that much affected. Is that the truth?
What we are currently seeing in terms of companies that work with gig workers, meaning you don't have full-time people fully, we're seeing a certain reduction in demand for some categories and a certain upsurge in demand for some categories. I'll give you an example. We have seen an increase in demand for categories in e-commerce. We had traditional businesses who are our customers for the past 1 year, who were basically brick and mortar businesses or mom and pop businesses. Now they are to digital media and then connecting that to social media. So you have two services: a company that wants to do e-commerce at the same time selling their products and services on digital. So we are seeing a lot of demand along e-commerce businesses. Interestingly, we have also seen a lot of demand in terms of churches. Churches now want to move almost all their entire services online, even after COVID, because now people want to limit the level of contact. So we've been working a lot with churches to enable them make that transition to digital. We've also seen a certain demand in businesses that want to raise awareness about their PPE and the wonderful work that they're doing on the ground in terms of frontline workers. So they want to tell those stories to digital media so that they're able to raise awareness about this disease. So it's an interesting combination of categories that are profitable as well as categories that are meant to support the cause.
Pretty much. All right. Now, would you say, therefore, that the biggest shift right now from the services that your clients are demanding are services that are going to increase their online presence and also visibility? Would you say that?
100%, because it's interesting. Now, most businesses that were not willing to digital, right now, the conversation has shifted from I'm not willing to spend to how much do I spend? So that is the conversation that we are seeing in terms of businesses, mostly traditional and legacy businesses that were sort of ignoring digital. Now they're seeing the importance of digital, and I believe this will offset a certain belief in terms of how strong digital is. And we, as a platform that connects create designers, developers with work, we want to see that trend picking up even after COVID.
I know everybody is again saying that 2020 has been one of those years where everybody is saying we just have to stay alive and survive, sort of keep our businesses afloat as we look for maybe the last quarter of this year and probably 2021 as a year that we're going to look at books and say, what are we bringing in? But would you talk to me about how 2020 for you has been so far as Onesha Technologies Limited? What have you done that you will look back and say, wow, since we are a young company trying to revolutionize this space, that this is exactly what we point as 2020 being our biggest milestone?
That's a good question, Elijah. In terms of what you've been able to do at Onesha, first of all, it's to ensure that everyone who works at Onesha was safe and healthy in terms of how they interact or where they work from. So all our staff are working from home. Secondly, we had to, as a business, we had to quickly shift who our customer was or should be in the next 18 months because the buying behavior and the reasons to buy for businesses has changed. So we sort of, let me say, pivoted who our customers was. Like, for example, for the past, a better part of last year, we worked a lot with hotels. And when this crisis hit, hotels were the first one to be hit that hard by this crisis. What we had to do at that moment in time was quickly shift in terms of if we were helping hotels for the past 2 or 3 years, how do we shift the strategy that we were employing to help hotels to help these other businesses? So we had to sort of build another healthy pipeline for the next 18 months to enable us keep the business afloat. Also, we, as a young businesses, as a growing business, we had to cut a lot of operational expenditure in terms of expenditure that was not necessary for the business. Mostly a bit of marketing, a bit of fixed costs. For example, say transport or airtime or furniture, things that were not necessarily adding value to the business. We cut off all those expenses. And what that allowed us to do was to buy more time for us to at least continue serving the businesses that we are currently working with. The key point here is, can you buy as much time as possible for your business?
Fantastic. I know, Nyagaka, we cannot really talk about this before I ask you exactly now what is happening globally. I mean, during this COVID-19 pandemic, you would not even think that a company would be such ambitious even to go into the orbit. We're talking about SpaceX. What did you make of that venture? And is that where we are headed as tech companies?
Honestly, I remember watching that launch. I was, I think, almost sleeping on my couch, and when it was about to take off, I had to sort of shift my eyes and look at the screen. So interestingly, I mean, it's a wonderful moment in history, not only for the global space travel, but also for emerging economies. The reason why it's important for emerging economies is initially it was so expensive for governments, more so from emerging countries, to launch, for example, satellites into space. What Elon Musk, SpaceX, and in partnership with NASA have done is saying, if we're able to reuse rockets that go to space, then the cost of transportation of any cargo or any payload or astronauts becomes extremely reduced. What that enables people to do, or companies to do, or governments to do, or any of their customers to do is, if they were spending $80 million to launch a payload to space, that cost has been reduced by almost 30% or 50%. So that has created an opportunity for also emerging countries and emerging markets to use this launch pad to also put their satellites or anything, to space. And interestingly, though it's a bit far-fetched, it has opened a massive opportunity for space travel, meaning anyone who wants to go here, tickets are almost, I think, $100,000 or $1 million or so. You can actually now buy, a seat and go to space if you want to go and have some extended luxury on the moon or whichever place that you want to go and have fun on Mars. So that is really going to be interesting for companies that are exploring the interest of space. And we've seen this happening between SpaceX launched, of course, the Falcon 9 rocket. It launched, it docked to the ISS after 24 hours. We also have, Boeing with their Starliner project. We have Richard Branson with his Virgin Galactic, planes and everything. So we are seeing more, though it's being done by high net worth individuals, but it's building an infrastructure for other people who want to this space. But it's a bit of an early stage for any company to do it sustainably and substantially, unless your customer is the US government.
Interesting, Nyagaka. Okay, this is another thing again that we've never really gotten down to discuss. You did say the numbers for Netflix, man. They shot up during this COVID-19 pandemic. And Warner Music, they actually did also launch their first IPO. What are we saying? Are we saying that entertainment now is an essential service more than we ever thought about it?
That's an interesting perspective to look at it. Though the CEO for Netflix said that the numbers are not sustainable, in that they cannot continue. The growth rate as it is currently cannot continue because it's a moment in time. So when the COVID-19 situation eases up, those numbers will start, normalizing. Same thing with Zoom. So, but going back to Netflix, lots of people are, let me say, are having more and more disposable income in their budgeting. So they are allocating a bit of that budget to entertainment. And of course, the first place for entertainment online is Netflix.
This is Metropole TV. I'm glad that you're still with us.